You did your homework, you found that perfect blue or green patch on the map, drove for hours, shot all night, and your photos are still washed out and noisy. What went wrong? What if I told you that just finding a dark color on a map is only half the battle? The real secret isn't just where you go, but how you use that spot to your advantage. Hey Astro Imagers, welcome back. If you've ever stared at a light pollution map and wondered what those colors actually mean for your photos, you're not alone. Today I'm going to show you how to use these maps as a compass, not just a destination, so you can match your camera settings to your location and finally capture those jaw-dropping night sky images, even if you're stuck closer to a city than you'd like. And if that sounds good, please do support the channel. Before we start, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. This is Carl from Astro Imagery. The biggest mistake we all make is treating a light pollution map like a colour by numbers game. See blue, go to blue, do not pass go, do not collect £200. But the map is giving us so much more. Most maps use colours that correspond to the Bortle scale, a 1 to 9 ranking of sky darkness, where blue or grey is Bortle 1 to 3, yellow is Bortle 5, red is Bortle 8 or 9. But here's the secret, that colour only tells you how bright the sky is straight up at the zenith. It doesn't show the massive dome of light pollution on the horizon from a city 50 miles away. You could be in a perfect Bortle 2 zone, but if your target is rising over a distant city, your photos will still be washed out. Here's a pro tip for you. Don't just look for tiny blue pockets on the light pollution map. Find the biggest, most solid area of darkness and place yourself on its edge so you can shoot into the darkness using the whole park as a shield. The map tells you where to stand and which direction to aim. Let's quickly decode the three main ways that light pollution is measured. The Bortle scale is based on what you can see with your eyes. Simple but subjective. SQM, Sky Quality Meter, gives a number. Higher means darker skies. Radiance is a measure by satellites and tells us how much light is actually being sent up into the sky. Maps sometimes disagree because they use different data sources, and things like weather, seasons, or new city lights can change the numbers. Always check the date on your map layer. So what do those colors mean for your camera? Grey or black? Bortle 1 to 2. This is a true dark sky. You can use the shortest exposures and it's best for faint targets. Blue or green means Bortle 3 or 4. It's still excellent. Yellow or orange, Bortle 5 to 6. This is actually what I normally have in my backyard. Suburban skies, sky glow is visible. Plan 2 to 3 times the length of exposures that you'd normally use in a dark sky. Red, white, Bortle 7 to 9. This is a city sky with heavy light pollution. You may need 5 to 10 times the exposure time, and some targets just won't work. Okay, now moving on, targets fall into two categories. Broadband, which is basically star clusters and galaxies. You need dark skies, Bortle 1 to 4 at best, especially for galaxies. Narrowband, used for emission nebula. These emit light at specific wavelengths, so you can use special filters to block city light and let nebula light through. So in dark skies, shoot anything. In suburbs, stick to the brightest targets and use filters for nebulae. In the city, you're a narrowband specialist. Filters can help you get amazing nebula shots from your backyard. I've also found personally that after recent filter tests that I did on nebulae in particular, that even in my suburban sky with a Bortle 5 or 6, I'm best off using narrowband filters. So I use as well dual band filter. It gives me the best results. But figure out what's best for you. For planning, I recommend lightpollutionmap.info for overlays and up-to-date data. Clear Outside for combining light pollution with weather forecasts, and Dark Site Finder for road trips. But there are many more apps that you can use to find a dark sky. Watch out for the pitfalls though. Satellite maps can pick up temporary lights, and some maps more than a few years old. And as light pollution is constantly changing, unfortunately going in the negative direction and getting worse, we need as up-to-date a map as we can get, basically. Always check for the latest data then, and look for big, solid, dark areas, not just tiny blue dots. Once you've picked your spot and target, it's time to set up your camera. So what do we need to change in order to make the best of our camera? You need to look at aperture and open it as wide as possible. f2.8 or faster is best. Okay, now we come to ISO setting. In dark skies, you can use a higher ISO setting depending on your camera, maybe even 3200 or 6400 to up the gain. In the city, you need to lower this ISO setting to 800 to 1600 to avoid amplifying sky glow and light pollution, which will really overwhelm your image. Shutter speed. In dark skies, you can image for longer. In the city, use shorter exposures to avoid blowing out the sky, then stack more images. Filters. Broadband filters help with galaxies and clusters in suburbs. Narrowband filters are game changers for nebulae in the city and where you have higher pollution. But they won't help you with galaxies at all. Even with perfect planning, using the right filters and everything else, your raw images from light polluted areas will need some love. Gradient removal is one of those tools that we will need to use to remove the results of light pollution. In Photoshop, you can use gradient removal tools, and I also use Cyril, which also contains Graxpert or background extraction. These are all tools which are really, really helpful for removing, very, very quickly removing light pollution from your images. Of course, this is not the end of it, because you'll be battling against light polluted skies while you're processing right through your workflow, which is why it's always worth getting to the very darkest skies you can to make your processing workflow that much easier. One technique I do use is color calibration in Cyril. Use a patch of empty sky to neutralize the color casts from the filters, because filters do usually give a color cast. For example, when I use my Broadband L Pro filter, it gives a purple, can you believe, a purple color cast to my images. Lamps can give an orange glow to your images, so you need to take that away, and color calibration is the way to do that. Now, stacking. I have covered stacking in more detail in a number of videos, and I'll put some links in the description so you can check those out below. Please do. Take many shorter exposures, especially if you're in a light polluted area, and stack them to reduce noise and boost detail. This is absolutely critical under bright light polluted skies. Check this out. Here's the Andromeda galaxy shot from Bortle 3, Bortle 4 and Bortle 5-6, my backyard. I'm showing you individual exposures first. Now the stacked images with the same total exposure time for each one. See how much noisier and brighter the Bortle 5.6 image is? Contrast between the galaxy and the sky is much less. But if I increase the total exposure in a higher Bortle zone, the signal to noise ratio improves. Now your image is much better. That's the power of understanding your map and planning your settings. So let's recap now what we've covered in this video. Use the map as a compass, not just a destination. Pick the right target for the sky that you have. Tweak your settings and use the right filters. Rescue your data in post-processing. Astrophotography is a journey and light pollution is a puzzle to solve. It's not a brick wall. Drop your Bortle zone and gear in the comments and I'll reply with a target and exposure plan for your location. Screenshot the planning card and share your results with us below. Don't miss the next video in this series where I'll show you the histogram trick that makes nebulae pop, even from the city. Clear skies and see you next time here on Astro Imagery.